Person of the Eastern Cape, Oscar Mabuyane, will be chatting to us, giving us an update from the point of view of the Eastern Cape. Mr. Mabuyane, you're the chairperson of the Eastern Cape, the third biggest delegation to this conference. Are you upbeat? Are you confident your candidate will emerge?
Good evening, Branswag, and so good evening to viewers at home. Yes, of course, we are supporting this perspective because we believe that this perspective has got the potential to emerge, and also looking at the nominations themselves. If we were to affirm those nominations, we should not be talking about a contest, so to speak, but because we know that we still have to undergo the secret ballot exercise, we still believe that we are in there. It's within the reach, and we are very strong. We are very strong.
But nominations are just a pointer, and delegates could change it.
That's exactly the point, that in the province we were raising the issue that it's high time that as we review our electoral reforms, we must really consider this one member, one vote, because if an individual who is sent here to represent majority changes the mandate of the majority, there's something wrong with that. But if those majority members from where they are would be able to go and vote for themselves, definitely you'll be getting the same in terms of the majority, what they've decided in their BGMs. But well, we understand that's a situation, but that's exactly the point that we've been talking about, that people can just swing as they wish whilst they are here, not on their own, representing people who send them to come in here. In situations like those, then there's something very much not right, untoward, which must be corrected as we trying to restore the prestige of the ANC and begin to look at the issue of the trust deficit that the ANC has with the public. So we believe that if we do things right, if we go to a conference, we don't cause a panic, we don't make the country to feel the consternation. We make the country to look forward, because the ANC is going to emerge with good policies that are taking the country to a higher pedestal. This is what we would want to see. But we are also here to make it a point that we unite the ANC. That's why that when you support a perspective, you must know that a perspective can win, a perspective cannot win. But the ANC will win. We will emerge here with a leadership that must be supported by all, whether it's a perspective that we are here to believe or to support, or it's another perspective. We will work very hard to support the leadership elected, because ANC must always win and ANC must always prevail.
In fact, it's very interesting for you, because whoever wins here, you are hosting next month.
Yes, yeah, definitely, of course. We don't have a choice. Coming from a home of legend, we will be hosting the January 8th, the 106th January 8th of the ANC, which will be coinciding with the 100th centennial celebration of President Mandela. So definitely, we don't have any luxury to play. We must focus and begin to work very hard for the ANC. But besides that, out of this conference, the ANC has got 2019 not far from here. This is what our eyes are on. We must come here, work on policies. We must not come here and learn what are the new revolutionary songs. We must come here in a political school and be taught on what ANC is all about, what is the fundamental goal of the ANC, what are the objectives of the ANC. And if we understand that, we will all know that ANC is about unity. Therefore, we must unite. For us to be able to unite South Africans for non-racialism, non-sexist, democratic and prosperous country. So we must actually work for that.
Are you still confident that the ANC is still in sync with the feelings, the mood, the wishes and the aspirations of ordinary South Africans?
Definitely yes, definitely yes. The ANC is the only hope that South Africans have, and South Africans are not ready for any other government other than the ANC government. That's why the ANC must work very hard to correct all other foreign tendencies that are really eroding its moral fiber in the society. So when we come into a conference, we must begin to look at those issues. Fortunately, those issues have been raised in the political overview of the president. Surely they will be raised as well in the organizational report. These are issues that as we go to commission, we must begin to say, how do we find permanent panacea to address these problems so that the ANC remains and we can all be perished. But the ANC as the only hope of South Africans and the only hope of the ordinary members of this organization will remain there.
So as the Eastern Cape, you are saying it here that even if the outcome is that which you had not proposed, you would rally behind the leader. So there will be no situation where people will walk away from the conference. The reason I'm asking this question because a few months ago in the Eastern Cape we witnessed scenes that were really perhaps an embarrassment to the country, the throwing of shares by adults at an ANC conference. So are you giving us this assurance that the Eastern Cape will accept the outcome and move on?
That is one of the rare things that we saw. It really caught us by surprise, but also that is covered in the ANC constitution, that both disruption and violence are listed as act of misconduct in the ANC constitution. That must be attended to so that you don't allow those things to create wrong precedent about ANC meeting. As we're here, we are psychologically prepared. We have prepared this delegation psychologically to know exactly that we are here to build the ANC. We're not here to build our own individual interest. We are not here for self-aggrandizement, but we are here to ensure that the challenges that are out there that are facing the society find solutions out of this meeting. That solution will be on how we behave, on how we unite ANC, and definitely support whatever leadership that will be elected. Yes, we've got a perspective. The other thing you would understand, we were coming here with the TG as our deputy president in terms of the consolidation. And in lobbying with other provinces here, being confronted with the really challenges of the ANC, the principled issues of gender, etc., we had to go back and approach TG, having been mandated by the delegation to say, let's look at this. Even if we would have loved to see TG emerging, ascending to the office of the presidency as a deputy president, but we can't elect him alone because we were the only province that elected him. We had to approach him this morning and engage him around that issue as a very disciplined cadre of our movement. A very, very dedicated comrade who has been a symbol of unity as he has been actually mounting his campaign. He saw it fit that it's not about him, it's about ANC. We are all here to elect leadership of the ANC. So if we people who nominated him, we are approaching him in that decent manner, so there was no reason for him to actually refuse that. He remains a leader. He remains a very distinguished leader. He remains the future leader of the ANC moving forward. And definitely ANC will need him down the line.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mabuyane.
Sure.
There was Oscar Mabuyane there, the chairperson of the ANC in the Eastern Cape. In fact, even giving us an insight into why the TG, the outgoing TG, Zweli Mkhize, withdrew his nomination for the deputy presidency.
Well, thank you so much, Mzwandile Mbeje. And just getting back to the panel regarding that particular interview, and Mzwandile, they're getting confirmation from Oscar Mabuyane about Zweli Mkhize's withdrawal from the race. But then we can then for certain say those votes will obviously go then to Cyril Ramaphosa. But what would a trade-off have been there for him to actually step down?
Well, I think Zweli Mkhize will make a brilliant minister. He's well educated. He's a medical doctor himself. He's been a premier of a province. He's been the Treasurer General of the ANC. I think this is the kind of thing that we can expect. I don't think Zweli Mkhize will disappear. I think he will move up.
I agree with that. I agree. I mean, I hope he's right about the Cyril Ramaphosa that he's gone over there, because it hasn't been that certain, and certainly I think he wasn't happy about the way that Ramaphosa didn't have him on his slate, and then he had him on, and then he had him off, and then and he had campaigned with him but dropped him, and so on. So they must have, if that is correct, if it is correct, and let me say there are so many rumors going around. If you if you just look on Twitter or anyway, there's like 500 rumors all going in different directions.
Oh, geez. And that's the thing, because earlier on I actually saw a tweet that said that Zweli Mkhize is endorsing endorsing Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma. And I tried to verify this, and nobody could verify that. But here we have confirmation, of course, from Oscar Mabuyane that there has been this discussion. But then what happens to the likes of Zweli Mkhize heading forward inside the ANC, not outside of the ANC, inside of the ANC as a leader of the party?
Well, we know he can't be in the top 6 now. So we know that. So at best he can be in the NEC. But you know, obviously then, of course, there are various ways of deploying people inside the ANC, various positions, various, you know, which includes cabinet. Doesn't need to be cabinet, but there are endless other positions, you know. And we know he's strong in finance. We know he's very much liked by the business community. So one could see that they, I mean, if it isn't in an elected position or in a cabinet position, of course one could see that he could maybe go and help in some of the SOEs. I mean, God knows there's a lot of possibilities.
Well, you see, that's the advantage of being the ruling party. You can do this. The DA can't do this. They don't have positions to offer. The ruling party anywhere in the world has got this huge advantage of using people in different ways and just to keep them busy.
And making sure that those people work for the interest of the party and implement party policy, because that has been another issue.
Well, that's the situation for now. Who knows what happens in 2019. But thank you so much, Theo Venter, Melanie Verwoerd, for coming through this evening. And this is where we are going to wrap it up. Aldrin, it's been a productive day. It has been.
It has been a productive day, but it's also been a very, very long day. Of course, the nominations of the ANC's 80 NEC members will be tomorrow. Voting is expected to start this evening for the ANC's top 6, and tomorrow morning we should get the results of who is the party president. Not too sure whether the election agents will leak the results.
It might not be them, but it might be other people who may be privy to those results. We've become accustomed to leaks, so we're expecting it almost.
It's been a great one. Good night, and we'll see you again tomorrow morning. Peter Ndoro as well as Leanne Manis will be with you. Goodbye.
Take care.